Well, hi there, boys and girls. It is Roomy time. So let's see what we got dialed up today. This one is a little bit longer today, looks like. And we're back in this section of poems on Jesus. So very fitting if you're following along with the blog side by side with these ruminations. So this one is called Jesus on the Lean Donkey. Jesus on the lean donkey. This is an emblem of how the rational intellect should control the animal soul. Let your spirit be strong like Jesus. If that part becomes weak, then the worn-out donkey grows to a dragon. Let your spirit be strong like Jesus. If that part becomes weak, then the worn-out donkey grows to a dragon. Be grateful when what seems unkind comes from a wise person. Once, a holy man, riding his donkey, saw a snake crawling into a sleeping man's mouth. He hurried, but he couldn't prevent it. He hit the man several blows with his club. The man woke terrified and ran beneath an apple tree with many rotten apples on the ground. Eat, you miserable wretch. Eat. Why are you doing this to me? Eat more, you fool. I've never seen you before. Who are you? Do you have some inner quarrel with my soul? The wise man kept forcing him to eat, and then he ran him for hours. He whipped the poor man and made him run. Finally, at nightfall, full of rotten apples, fatigued, bleeding, he fell and vomited everything, the good and the bad, the apples and the snake. When he saw that ugly snake come out of himself, he fell on his knees before his assailant. Are you Gabriel? Are you God? I bless the moment you first noticed me. I was dead and I didn't know it. I was dead and I didn't know it. You've given me a new life. Everything I've said to you was stupid. I didn't know. If I had explained what I was doing, you might have panicked and died of fear. Muhammad said, if I describe the enemy that lives inside men, even the most courageous would be paralyzed. Muhammad said, if I describe the enemy that lives inside men, even the most courageous would be paralyzed. No one would go out or do any work. No one would pray or fast, and all power to change would fade from human beings. So I kept quiet while I was beating you, that like David, I might shape iron so that impossibly I might put feathers back into a bird's wing. God's silence is necessary because of humankind's faint-heartedness. God's silence is necessary because of humankind's faint-heartedness. If I had told you about the snake, you wouldn't have been able to eat. And if you hadn't eaten, you wouldn't have vomited. I saw your condition, and I drove my donkey hard into the middle of it, saying always under my breath, Lord, make it easy on him. I wasn't permitted to tell you, and I wasn't permitted to stop beating you. I wasn't permitted to tell you, and I wasn't permitted to stop beating you. The healed man, still kneeling, said, I have no way to thank you for the quickness of your wisdom and the strength of your guidance. God will thank you. Wow. Ton to unpack here. What a beautiful, beautiful story, a beautiful metaphor for the way that we often experience life, particularly the stresses of life, the difficulty, the challenges that we experience on a almost daily basis. Sometimes just the challenges to get out of bed in the morning, right? And we feel sometimes oppressed, particularly and even if we are deeply spiritual people, very attuned to and kind of cognizant, you might say, at least, or acknowledging of our divine relationship to the eternal. sometimes it can still feel like, man, why is this happening to me? And we can remind ourselves, challenges are catalysts to help us to learn lessons, right? To help us to grow. But sometimes even that reminder isn't enough, right? We feel like we're being punished almost. We feel like we're being attacked for no reason. How many times do you feel just like, as much as you don't want to feel this way, you feel like a victim? I didn't do anything to deserve this. I didn't, I've been really good on my practices. I've been treating others with respect and dignity. I've been working really hard at my job and saving money. And then something comes out of the blue and throws the whole system that we've set up around us out of whack. Or maybe a loved one has an unexpected illness, and suddenly we're filled with worry, and we're filled with this new responsibility to take care of them or something. All of the things that can just oppress us. And we have to return back, right, to this idea that Rumi describes in this poem, speaking about how it can't be known to us. Or we might say it's not actually helpful for us to know why, quote unquote, bad things are happening to us. God can't reach down and communicate to us. It says here, God's silence is necessary because of humankind's faint-heartedness. That he says, if I describe the enemy that lives inside men, quoting Muhammad, even the most courageous would be paralyzed. Right? For us in these bodies to have the larger understanding, right? The thing that we think would actually be helpful in our perception of reality, the way that we perceive as humans and go about things is like, if we understand something, can break it down, if we have knowledge of it, then we can work with it and deal with it. But what Rumi's pointing to here, among many other things, is the idea that that's actually not true on a sort of a cosmic scale. That as we zoom out, as we enter into the vast unknown, or the vast existence of the cosmos that are sort of beyond our earthly perceptions, beyond our human perceptions, once we move into those realms, to actually have a quote-unquote understanding, particularly an intellectual understanding of that, would actually be paralyzing to our existence here on earth. And so part of the experience here, part of the experience of living here on earth, is to start to, at least, the process of becoming more comfortable with that unknown. And that's really at the core, in many ways, in my view, of what mysticism is about. It's not about finding answers. It's not about coming up with the solutions. It's not about answering the age-old questions of why we're here, or so on and so forth, the nature of God, the nature of the universe. It's about arriving at maybe not a comfort with, but an acceptance of the fact that we don't know. Okay. And there'll be clues along the way. Sometimes it's very obvious to us why a hardship might be coming into our lives. It points us, boom, directly to a lesson that we needed to learn, or something, some attitude maybe we needed to fix, right? But oftentimes, man, it's overwhelming. Oftentimes, it's mysterious, okay? And in those moments, it can be helpful to return to a lesson like this. This guy just getting whipped, getting beaten, getting persecuted, being run until he vomits. Didn't understand why he needed to do that until that snake comes out of him, right? And we're using maybe some Bible imagery here, right? Since this is Jesus on the lean donkey, right? Essentially, he's pointing to this man on the donkey as Jesus, bringing the snake out of you, maybe bringing that tendency toward self-destructiveness up out of you. And that persecution, or what feels like a persecution, might actually be a gift, right? if we want to break it down to the most simple terms, that thing that's eating at you, that aspect of your life that's challenging you, actually be a fucking gift. Take that with you. So much more that we could unpack here, but over 10 minutes, longest video I've ever done. So we'll leave it there. Much love and take care.